Hello, YouTube. This is Market Driven, and today we're going to be doing 991. This is 2013 Porsche 911. I'm going to do another year also, which we're going to go down the list on that. We'll get to that later. I'm a big Porsche fan. I love Porsches. Porsches are amazing vehicles. Over the years, I've definitely been a big fan of Porsches, and to the point where I actually build them out on their website just to see how they look. They're amazing vehicles. They're built beautifully, especially even looking at the 356 and up to like the 1973, the 991. Sorry, the 911s and the original ones. But it's just beautiful vehicles. And I ended up in the comments, someone wrote for me to do a 911, so I wanted to make sure I do the vehicle. So this is a 2013 Porsche 911 Carrera. Where I'm going to do the S version of this only. I'm not going to do the convertible just because I feel like there's much more information for me to give out on the regular coupe of it. So the base MMR is 47,400, 47,400 with an average odometer of 64,000 and an average condition of 4.2. A good score. So now this vehicle, I mean, you got to think about it. This is a 10-year-old vehicle as of today. So you think the market on this is still pretty high. When have you seen a 10-year-old vehicle that's holder values? For example, I don't think Corvette, even though we're not really comparing apples to apples, a Corvette holds that type of gives that type of valuation in today's market, especially that. So now average odometer, if you think about the 65, that means 10 years. I mean, they probably drove the vehicle only 5,000 miles a year, right? Or not a lot. And it's really mostly it is a Porsche. A lot of this, some of them are driven a lot, some of them are not. They're stored away and not driven. But I have seen some that they creep over the 100,000 miles. Let's look at some transactions. So you can see right here in January 9th, one sold for 57,000 with 6,000 miles. Again, going back that, most of the time, people that own these vehicles, either they don't drive them or they drive them. And as you can see right here, back in December 5th of 2023, 141,000 miles and scored a 4.0. That means the owner of this vehicle took really, really good care of this vehicle. And wow, so two different. So you can see for the mileage of the difference. So for $20,000 difference, you get a close to new vehicle compared to more mileage. But even that, right? Think about it. This car, a Porsche that had 141,000 miles, ran through the auction block and sold for $36,250 plus auction fees and transportation and maybe some reconditioning on the vehicle. What are they going to ask for that vehicle, right? And I can actually give you a breakdown of that. So if you look at 142, just go up a little. Yeah, it gives you base MR 35.5, and they're estimating retail at 45,000. Now this could be a $40,000 car, $42,000 car, but who is your buyer? Who's the buyer that's going to buy this vehicle at 142,000 miles? That's another thing you have to look at, and then not a lot of banks are going to finance that too. So most likely this is going to be a cash buyer. I'm gonna try to look for this vehicle. Maybe someone can find it online when it gets listed. Maybe it's already listed somewhere. 2013 Porsche 911 Carrera. Let's look at some more. Wow, 45. So back in October, we got 45,000, 49,000, and 46,000. Now this since I did the other one, let me do this one. So this one has 47,700, right? So 47,700. Mileage, let's see what base MMR gives us. Okay, so if you look at 50, okay, so this vehicle, even though we're a couple of days from January 4th, I wouldn't change anything. If I give it a 4.1, it's actually going to hurt it. So let's see. So if I give it a 4.1, yeah, it's going to come down $500. So this vehicle sold for $2,000 more than what MMR was probably at that time. But let's look at base MMR 30 to see. Oh wow. Okay, so let's not go there yet. So what I'm trying to say is that At the time of this of this one right here, the one I sold in Fredericksburg, which is the northeast of the nation, that was red. This one sold for $2,000 over MMR at that time. Now MMR could have been a little bit higher compared to this, so maybe at that time MMR could have been 51 and sold for 51, because if you look at 30 days ago, base MMR was 54,000. So from today is 47. So that is a $7,000 difference, right? So maybe when the one that I sold it back in January 4th of this month of this year, with 2024, MMR would have probably been around 41, and the bidders would have stopped at 51, because that's what MMR is. And that could have been. But the interesting part of what I'm seeing is 6 months ago, this car, the average transactions averaged out to 42,300, which big separation, right? Now, could have been that the ones, let's see, look at the average odometer too, 103,000 miles. So 6 months ago, a lot more vehicles with a higher mileage came to the market, and they all traded, right? And they all sold roughly at averaging out to 42,000. Now the newer ones, right? Well, because at that point they're looking at, well, it's a 10-year-old car. Let me trade out. Let me get something different. Now they're coming back and they're like, wait, this car they're trading for a lot more, because if you look at the last year transactions, it's 50,000, right? So now, if we were to kind of do a graph, what I'm trying to say is that in the beginning of the year, it went down, right? The graph went down, and then from there, it shot back up in around summertime, and now we're in winter, which now, if you look at it, we're sitting right at the same place technically. So if you would have bought your vehicle a year ago, if you didn't drive much mileage, put a lot of more, a lot of miles on the vehicle, your vehicle's probably worth the same, which is pretty good, And Porsches are known to keep their value, and they're known to hold their value, especially on that. And most importantly, you got to think of it. This is just a Carrera. This is not the S. This is not a turbo. It's not a turbo S. It's just a regular Carrera, and the options vary too on this vehicle. So, and that could be why there's such a big separation too, because the one with 141,000 miles could have some really good options, could have Sport Chrono, premium package. So it's a lot really interesting to see on that part, and and then because it went down and then shot back up to where it needs to be, because you look at even the average odometer 65,000 a year ago. Well, it's the same today. So technically, the vehicle's been steady. If you look at it, if you zoom out, you look at, oh wow, the vehicle hasn't changed. The market hasn't changed on these a lot. Now, what we could do is let's just go to an S, right? Wow. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so base MMR is 47.4. But for you to go to an S, which you get, I believe it's a lot more performance features on them. That's a close to $8,000 difference, right? Well, $9,000 difference of what base MMR, and average odometer is the same. Average condition. Let's see some transactions. Okay, so beginning of this year, one sold for 60,500 with 58,000 miles, almost similar, which 4.9. Most this vehicle is probably close to mint to be like that. And then look at this one. So the last Friday of the year, with 21,000 miles in the West Coast, one sold for 71,000 miles. For $71,000, excuse me, $71,000. Wow. That's not even 30 days ago. And even this is like 15 days ago. One sold for 71,000 miles. Now, this vehicle in particular had to be a really good option vehicle. Had to have some really good features. Since we have the mileage, you can probably find the vehicle, and you at least will know where where it's at, because it's also in Seattle. And then after that, we got some 53.5, and you can see right here we have 108,000 miles. Jeez, 39,000. San Francisco, and then November 14th. Before Thanksgiving, 49,000 miles, so for 66,000, New England. And then Palm Beach, right here, we have one for 94,000 miles, sold for 45.6. 30 days ago, not a lot of difference. Market steady. 6 months ago, Ooh, big difference. It's a 10 grand difference from today. And then last year, 62,800, which roughly is the same, but uh, this is kind of what the opposite of what the other one did, right? The regular Carrera. The beginning of the year, it started at 62,800, going up to the middle of the year, went up to 65.6, and in the past 6 months, we've seen the most separate depreciation on the vehicle, which now puts us at 55,900. And Manheim is saying that this vehicle is going to be the worth this projected average of still 55.8, and an estimated retail of 64.1. So really interesting on these vehicles. They're beautiful vehicles. Personally, I would take the S just because of the options. A lot more people are looking for these vehicles with options, and beautiful cars. Let me know what you guys think. Put it down in the comments. If you have any vehicles that you'd like me to do, please write them down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching the videos.